Welcome to Family Business World. I'm your host, Dr. Dale Caldwell, and we have two dynamic folks from DeSimone Construction. Dennis, Anthony, welcome to Family Business World. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Yes,
morning.
yes. I'm excited
Pleasure to be here.
to have you. We were talking as we were getting ready, and business is really booming for the two of you. And so before we talk about your business, I always like to find out, kind of where you grew up and so on. So Dennis, why don't you start? So where did you grow up and how did you get into this business? And then I want to hear from Anthony.
So, really good story, and it's kind of an interesting way the stars align at times.
Yep,
because
absolutely.
I came off of a high this past weekend, having gotten to an achievement award at my college.
Oh, really?
Delaware Valley University.
Nice. Congrats.
And in fact, I'm going to share this with you.
Oh, nice.
Because
Okay.
this was not timed this way, but this just happened Saturday morning.
Love it. Love it.
And I am just so thankful that this took place, because the university which I went to, and I was a biology major, gave me this award in science. But the reasoning for it is they wanted the students to try to understand that going to college and the education and how that sets the stage to build the foundation for your career doesn't have to necessarily be in the subject matter that you went to school for.
Right. It's not a straight line.
Delaware Valley University gave me an education which I'll always be grateful for. And this past weekend, I had a chance to share the story with the students and some of the alumni about my earlier days growing up, and my dad, who was Albert, same name as Anthony's dad, Albert, and how there was always a project going on in our house growing up. My dad was a contractor of sorts who developed and did things on his own, and he sort of was a business guy. And so it was always there. And even though I had this love for science and biology and nature, I sort of, when I finished at schooling, I just had that entrepreneurship within me, and business that I sort of been trained since I had been 10 years old. I grew up in a car wash, my dad's business, and I sort of got used to being around people, business people, managing people, and it just was in me.
So how did you choose? How did you choose? With all those options, how did you choose what business? So when did you start the business?
1974.
Wow.
48 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what was the first iteration of the business? What did you start?
So I always had this, I would call it inner talent for carpentry work and masonry work. So I graduated, and that was 72 when I graduated Del Val. And by 74, I was doing projects. I started, reading books about how to put things together and just improve my skills. And next thing I know, it was laying block and framing buildings and doing a lot of things on my own. And Al, Anthony's dad, would come to the job sites after school and help me stand walls and just crazy things that we did when we were young. It was pretty amazing how much energy we had physically. And the business, anyway, it all sort of took off from then.
Wow, that's great.
Hiring carpenters, and managing subcontractors, and vendors. So it's been an amazing career and lots of steps. And
so how many employees? How many employees do you have now, or what's the highest number of employees that you've had since starting the business?
Yes, so I would say when we were in the framing business, where we had a lot of carpenters work for us, between the staff in the field, we probably had 20 people working
Nice.
for
Okay.
us at that time. And
Okay.
Anthony, currently, what's the staff?
Yeah, we have 20 now, so
Okay.
pretty similar. We just have changed up what they do. You know, we before being heavily in the framing business, we had a lot of carpenters and guys that work with their hands.
Right.
And now we've become more of a construction management firm where
Okay.
we still do perform a lot of the detail carpentry, but with a smaller staff. And our business is really all geared around hiring highly skilled technical, management to manage the subcontractors and the construction.
So Anthony, how did you get into
Can I
the
just
business?
jump in here for a second? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Dale, one of the changes that I visualized and that I would like to share with you is that when we first started this business,
Right.
there wasn't nearly as many trades as there are today.
Right.
It started out where, the carpenter did multiple things. He framed, he trimmed,
Right.
he did flooring work, he hung the cabinets.
He did everything.
He could have even done the concrete masonry work,
Right.
because he had all those skills. Today, everyone's a specialist in what we do.
Right.
It's sort of like the medical industry in a way, because everyone's a specialist. And, it's sort of transformed itself in that direction. And hey, the betterment of the business, because we do a much better job today because of the quality of the people that do the work.
And people have deeper expertise. And so, so let's go back to, so Anthony, how'd you get started in the business? You weren't there when it was first started. And so, how did you get in?
I grew up around it. My dad and my uncle obviously did this since 1974. And I remember being a little kid and being taken to the job sites. And I would say as early as 14 or 15 during the summers, I would go to work. I had a wood shop in my garage at home that my dad would do work in, and I would, go down there. I had a love for it, and just was around it my whole life. My career actually out of college, I didn't go right to work in construction. I actually started my own businesses. I had a couple online resale companies. I owned a car shop where we did all kinds of electronics and modifications to cars, and I sort of wanted to make my own path as an entrepreneur, following in my dad and my uncle's footsteps, and had a lot of success doing that. But my love for construction and the family sort of brought me back. Probably about 15 years ago, I came back to work with the company. And actually, at first, came back to work to bring my technical skills in to help advance the company. And Dennis and I built a website together to do project management and bid administration for our company before those types of systems were in place.
Oh, interesting.
And we created a tool that we had called Builder's Belt that we used for our bidding and estimating that really transformed our business and how we operate it. And from there, fell back in love with construction and just have sort of continued to grow with the company and since have sort of taken the role as the leader, I guess you would say. And
a lot of energy.
Right.
And we've created a great partnership, Dennis, Albert, and I, and all the guys that work for us and the gals that work for us. We have a great team and a great vendor base. Even though the company is only 20 employees that work for DeSimone Construction, we probably manage hundreds of vendors that are an extension to our business, some of which do business really mostly just for us. And it's pretty remarkable what we do and the guys that we work with and the people and even the clients. It's great.
Well, one of the things that I always say, I've been doing this show for a number of years, and when people start out as kids in the family business, they value it more, and they really want to grow the business. They feel part of it. And so it's amazing how important that is, just to hear that you were working as a kid in this business and now you look at it. And so so now there's been transition of ownership, did I hear, as we were talking before? Talk a little bit about that, Dennis.
Yes. So Dennis had sort of planned his succession, probably going back 15 years ago, 12 to 15 years ago. We started talking about it and preparing for it. We went through a succession period, and about 4 years ago, my dad and myself bought Dennis out of the business, but Dennis has continued to be a vital part in our growth and our continued success. Dennis has been a great mentor, taught me a ton, and we're going on 50 years next year, and that's going to be pretty exciting.
Unbelievable. Well, Dennis was saying he's working as hard as ever now. After selling the business.
Hey,
so
the stars have all aligned for us. Our business started out mainly as residential construction about 20 something years ago. Before I was around, Dennis and Albert sort of made a decision to move into the commercial construction industry as well. And to this day, we do both. We have an arm of the business that focuses on residential and another that does commercial. The commercial business has really grown and really taken over. It's been the bulk of our business and our success over the last few years. And before COVID, after COVID, and even going forward, it's pretty remarkable how much business there is and how busy we are and how busy we hope to remain.
So the ownership transition, did I hear you say it was like 2019 earlier, and so prior to the pandemic? Is that about when the transition happened?
Yeah, we sort of, that's when the transfer of ownership happened in 2019, okay. But we had a 3-year period prior to that where we made the transition, and several years before that where we planned for it. So it's something you don't want to rush. Right. Your vendors and your clients, they want to know that the business is, in good hands, and that, you're going to be able to run with it and keep it successful. So the way Dennis structured it and we went through with it, it worked out very, very well.
Excellent. Well, we're gonna take a commercial break, but it sounds like Dennis anticipated the pandemic and sold the business just before the pandemic. But it worked out. So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about your business during the pandemic and how you were able to adjust. So we'll be right back with Family Business World after this commercial break.
Aloha, Joe Silva here with Kukua Technologies. I'm excited to see you on Tuesdays on Morning Coffee for our tech tips.
Let's face it, lawyers get a bad rap. I'm Erin Brucey, host of Legal Breakdown, where we dissect legal topics for the everyday viewer, with a mix of interesting guests to talk about current events and hot legal topics. Let's work together to make the law accessible and relevant to everyone. Catch us every week on RVN Television.
A stroke can be easy to detect. A loved one can't speak, perhaps they can't move. But there's another sign of a stroke that many of us can't see. It's called spatial neglect, and it can occur during or after a stroke, causing distorted visual movements. Fortunately, there's a solution by using optical prism technology during rehabilitation. If you or a loved one have experienced a stroke, ask your doctor about spatial neglect. Spatial neglect. See the whole picture at KesslerFoundation.org.
Welcome back to Family Business World. We're talking to DeSimone Construction, and just before the break, we talked about the transition of ownership just before the pandemic. So you guys, and I know it was a long time in making, Anthony, but all right, so you have this business, you own this business during the pandemic. Were you a little worried, or how did you get projects? It sounds like you were really busy during the pandemic.
Yeah, the stars kind of aligned for us during the pandemic. We had built a big backlog of business before the pandemic.
Okay.
And we had a few really great customers at the time that were in businesses that, had to remain open and had to remain, in business.
Right,
and we were
right.
able to continue to do that work through COVID. We had to put some protocols in place, some safety measures.
Of course,
but we
yeah.
were actually able to stay busy and get work done during the pandemic. And it actually, the way it worked for us, it worked very well because we were one of the few contractors that had customers that were able to get construction projects done during that time.
Oh, really? Oh,
And
wow.
we
Wow.
got we had sort of had preferential treatment from the subcontractors.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
I would say it was one of our, because those subcontractors were focusing mainly on our work.
Right.
We were able to be extremely efficient during that period of time.
Well, that's amazing. So why were they, was just the type of business that they were
Yeah,
in?
healthcare, the food
Okay.
industry,
Ah,
the customer
okay.
projects that we
Okay.
had at that time.
Right.
They were, I forget, they had a name for that type of business. You were a business that could continue to do business and continue to, have projects that were constructed
Right.
if you were
Okay.
in these industries. And
Okay.
it was healthcare, it was food, it was automotive, and they had less restrictions for
Right.
those types of projects.
Yeah. If you had some small restaurants, that could have been really, really tough.
Yeah, or more residential work,
Yeah.
could have been an issue as well because residentially there was more guidelines put in place. Only
Right.
one or two guys could work at a time, and there was
Right.
more restrictions put in place for those types of projects.
So Dennis, let me ask you. So you've sold the business. Now you're playing a new role. So are you a consultant, or what was what was the agreement what the role that you would play after you sold your business? And we have a lot of people looking here, maybe thinking about selling to family members, and that's sometimes an awkward thing. Like you want to sell it and go to Florida, but they need your expertise. So what role did you play in the company?
Well, I never really was planning to retire,
Okay.
Dale. So I'll say that at first. I've always loved the relationship
Right.
with the customer, and it's sort of what gets me up in the morning, the challenges of the project, and just to bring dreams, to come true to folks who, whether it's residential or commercial,
Right.
developing that dream of theirs and bringing it into reality. And I think it has a lot to do with our personalities, because
Right.
Anthony has this similar personality to want to put a smile on folks' face.
Right.
And we do that repeatedly.
Right.
It's incredible.
Well,
So it gets me up every morning.
These must have been a lot of them were your customers, right? So that's why it was important to have you there. You were the relationship manager with many of those customers. Is that true?
Yes, and it is to this day, and we sort of have a similar personality that wants to make that happen.
Right.
So my goal is to continue to work, stay busy. I've gotten a lot of support from Anthony, having folks that can help me do the parts of what I do, to just sort of keep the ball rolling and stay efficient. Because, hey, 48 years of doing this, you have a lot of experience in lots of different projects.
Right.
And I mentor them, but they mentor me in the technology side to try to get things done efficiently. So it works incredible, because I just feel like it's inspiring to me. I'm inspiring them. I'm inspiring. They inspire me by teaching me things.
Yeah.
So it's like I've never slowed up in the process, and I enjoy it so much. It's a challenge, but it's a love all at the same time.
Well, you're getting to do the aspects of the business you love. That's a lot of times when you own a business, there's so many things you have to do that really are not fun. So you've been freed up to do that. Let's go back to Anthony. You were talking about the technology. So you really had kind of a technology breakthrough that really helped the business. Could you say a little more about that? What was unique about the technology that you developed for your project management system?
Yeah, so that continues to be our success. One of the driving things with our success is our advancements in technology and what we do in a position that we're in. We're one of the few contractors, I think, that lead the way with technology, and we can attribute a lot of that to our success. So I went to school for computer science. I had businesses that were web-based online, and I had a love for building things on the internet, building things on the computer, just like building buildings and renovations and things we do in construction. So when I had come to work with Dennis, we had developed this bidding tool that helped us share the bid instruction and the documents with the vendors to get the bids and prepare the pricing for our customers. And it made us very, very efficient. We were able to move the information around very quickly and reduce the time it took us to do a bid by half or better. And it really set the tone for where the industry was going and where our success would be in the future. So after we had built that, we were always wanting more. We wanted to be more efficient. We wanted to find easier ways to do things and give our clients a better experience all around. Recently, not too recently, probably 5 or 6 years ago, we worked in tandem with another company that was building a project management program, and we found parallels that would help us succeed in our business. We weren't really software developers, so we were looking for something that would take us to the next step. And we found a project management tool that was going to give us all those resources that we were doing on the bid end, but also give us more resources from a production side. And we've now transformed our business to use one tool that pretty much manages every facet of the business. It gives our architects, our vendors, our customers, and our staff access to plans, submittals, change orders, drawings, photos, daily logs, everything on their computer, on their tablet, on their phone, in the field, at their house, in the office. And it's really created this sort of atmosphere and efficiency to our business that everybody gets to enjoy and be a part of, from the customer to the vendor to our team. And
that's amazing.
That's really, I think, the future for the construction industry, and being able to manage these projects efficiently. And we've seen that once we put those tools into place, project managers can really manage probably twice the amount of work as they could before those tools were available to us. Just because,
just so much more efficient.
The information is there. You don't have to go search for it. Once you sort of set something, you can sort of set it and forget it. You're not worried about it. You don't have to be so tuned into every little thing.
But the natural question,
sort of can help pass the information around and delegate out the responsibilities.
But the natural question is this something that you could sell to other companies? Is this a software product that you could actually create a whole other business out of this product? Is that in the planning, or you just want to kind of keep it to yourselves?
No. So that's where I said we actually went and we partnered with another company, and we're a customer of theirs now. We got out of the business. We sort of developed that first bidding tool that we could have easily taken that and we had plans on doing that, actually, of taking it, doing a beta test and selling that software. But we made a decision as a business that we didn't want to be a software developer and a contractor. We wanted to focus on what we were the best at. And we did that, and we found a tool that gave us everything we needed. And we sort of taught our staff how to use it, and they've done great with it.
Wonderful. That's the now. Where'd you go to school? Where computer science degree?
I went to Drexel.
Oh, excellent. Well, that's a great great program.
And I had, like I said, I had several businesses. Before, during, and after school. Always knew I wanted to work for myself and have my own business. And had great mentors growing up and being around it. Just sort of have a passion for, just as much as I have a passion for construction, I have a passion as an entrepreneur.
Well, again, and both of you have had that passion. And so, this is just simply the typical construction company founded by a biology and computer science major. So, and that's why it's great for you guys to really talk to young people, to really understand that it's about how you think and how you analyze problems, your critical thinking skills. You can do anything with the degree. And one of the things, I have a daughter that just started at Rutgers, but it's amazing, and I'm actually president of a couple of school boards, it's amazing how they're so focused on career. Where are you going? What's your major? What are you going to do? And they don't realize it's about your brain power, and that your brain power will allow you to, and you guys are a great example of that. So congratulations. We're at the end of time, unfortunately, but what's your web address? If people want to contact you and find out more information about you, and if you have a phone number, share that, please.
Yeah, our website is www.DeSimoneConst.com. It's DeSimone and then the first 5 letters of the word construction.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the social media places. We do a really great job at providing progress and completed photographs and videos of our projects. So if anybody wants to see the work we do, it's really great content. Go check it out. Our phone number to the office is 856-848-2897. And hey, we love what we do, and any commercial and residential work that has a lot of details is really where we succeed.
And it comes across. You guys, that you love what you do, and I really love that. So Dennis and Anthony, just thank you so very much for your time. And I want to thank those of you watching Family Business World. We'll see you next week. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.